Race. Sorry for the large gap that we've had in the championship. Of course, you missed us last round. We were at Zandvoort, but unfortunately we couldn't live stream due to half the Simply Race staff were actually at the Autosport International, so we unfortunately did miss that. But we are back now with the final round of the championship at Croft Circuit. Now, there has been a major development within the championship as well. Our championship leader, Alex Sadler, is not here with his 55 points. That puts him in a dangerous position now to lose this championship, because we have got second and third place here. Christian Kelly, he's in third place at the moment, 39 race points, with Ben Brown in 47 points in second place. Now, I have been working the maths and trying to work out who we've got out there for in terms of points and where they need to finish to win the championship. Now, if Christian Kelly comes in first position, Ben Brown has to finish fourth or above to take the win. If he finishes fifth or below, Christian Kelly takes the win. Same for second place. If Christian comes second, Ben Brown has to come sixth for the win. And same with third. If Ben Brown finishes eighth, he'll take the win as well. So it's crucial with these points that these guys must stay without there. And definitely one to keep an eye on. Obviously, the Croft final round, 3.4 kilometres, 12 corners in total out there. The drivers are about to head out for their pole shootout. So only one lap they've got for that qualifying. So it's going to be crucial to see where these guys finish. Now, 45-minute race and that one lap quali, it's going to be crucial for these guys. But let's see how they do. The guys are ready in the sims, and I think we're going to get going for the pole shootout in just a moment. I haven't got a co-commentator for this one. He's decided to abandon us for today. So, unfortunately, you're just left with myself, Anthony Jordan. But, we'll get you going. So do stick around, and I think we're about to get going for the pole shootout now, so stick around. So here we are for the pole shootout, the qualifying, the one lap heats race, and as you can see, drivers there heading out, warming their tyres up. Now, we're going to be going through the list of who's going to be in what car. Of course, as I'm not always here to commentate on this awesome championship, I sometimes forget who's actually in what car. So we're going to be working that out in this qualifying session. So we've got the black car with the green stripe, and that, the green and white stripe, yes it is, so that's probably going to be Carlos Lopez that we can see out here. Now here's a blue car with an orange and white. It's Jason Eccles, I believe, that we've got up there. So we've got the two screens on here, both starting their laps. So I think this is going to be, well, actually, no, I think this is Phil Cox that we're looking at here. So, yeah, sorry, this is Phil Cox, the number 5 that we've got here. He's starting his lap through that first corner. Now, you can see there, not a lot of rubber down, even though it looks like there's lots of rubber down. It seems like it's very loose on the traction on the back end. So, Phil Cox starting his first lap. Yes, and I can see another little graphic actually in front of me here. Ben Brown's actually the first he's going to be the first to actually finish the lap. So, we'll see the times appear on there as we currently look at Phil Cox still on the big screen as he heads through this very fast back section of the track. Ben Brown is going to be the first to finish his lap. Paul Day will finish the lap second, and then Will Richardson in third. I'm just trying to see where Christian Kelly is. So Christian Kelly's a little further back. He's got lots of cars in front of him, but it's a private qualifying, so these guys can't actually see each other out on the circuit. Ben Brown's coming into the final section now. Most of the cars are actually coming into the final section now. They're very close together as they come through. And I believe this is Christian Kelly that we're looking at here as he goes through. Or it could be Colin Talbot, actually, I believe. But Ben Brown crosses the line. He goes provisional pole. Richardson goes provisional pole, actually. Then Stuart French. Michael Boulding goes in front as well. So 1:16's coming in, so very quick times. Where does Christian Kelly come? Christian Kelly crosses the line in front of Ben Brown, so that's crucial then for Kelly. If he's in front of Brown, this is going to make it really interesting for the actual championship itself. Now, in these finishing positions, it's not going to help them whatsoever. Ben Brown will still win the championship if he finishes there with Christian Kelly in fourth. But if, of course, if Christian Kelly finishes third, Ben Brown must finish at least 8th place to take the win still. So as the rest of them come through, Edson takes the checker flag there as well. But yes, interesting qualifying there. We'll keep the results. There is Ben Brown, sporting shorts in this weather. Absolute madman, nonetheless. So there's Christian Kelly there as well. So one of the Cam Sport crews, Colin Talbot just behind him as well. Also one of the Cam Sport teams. So those guys are going to be working hard, I suspect. Are we going to see team orders in this one? For this one? Is Colin going to potentially try and hold up Ben Brown so Christian could take the championship? Are we going to see anything like that in this? Hopefully not. You would have think they were going to go, there's another man in shorts, crikey. It seems to be the fashion. I'm not in shorts. I got thermals on. It's cold out there. Cold and breezy. But an interesting end to qualifying. So, rundown of the qualifying results then for you. Stuart French qualifies in pole position with a 1:16.631. Then it's Michael Boulding in P2. Then it's Will Richardson in third. Christian Kelly in fourth. Ben Brown in fifth. Edson Manguera in sixth place. Paul Day in seventh. Colin Talbot in eighth. Carlos Lopez in ninth place. Phil Cox in 10th. And Jason Eccles in 11th. That is your order for today's 45-minute race at Croft, of course. I've just had the qualifying results brought up in front of me as well. So you can see there quite a gap between all of them. I think Jason, with his time, with the 1:24, I believe he had a bit of an incident on his lap. But everyone fairly close up. Less than a second, less than 3/10 of a second between the top 5 out on the circuit. So that's absolutely incredible in terms of how close the pace is. They're just going to have to watch it through that first chicane because Croft has got a tight chicane at this on this circuit. You have to really watch how you go through it because, you know, if you get too close to each other, we've seen it before in some previous races where drivers have got too close to those apex tyre walls and it's stopped them dead in their tracks. So they must make sure they do stay, I would say, fairly clear away from those. You can see there everyone just bracing themselves ready for the race. Again, there's Ben Brown, the Ben Brown fan club. I'm sure you're in here somewhere. Sean King's coming with a message. Ben, you disappoint me. Oh no, you can't say that to Ben. It's the Ben Brown fan club. But nonetheless, let's bring up the messages. If you do have any messages at all or anything like that, please don't hesitate to drop it down in the chat on YouTube or Facebook. And there's some more graphics and times and everything like that, sector times and everything, who had purple sectors as well. So there we go, lots of information up there for you. Yeah, so a bit of a slow middle sector actually. Looking at that. Oh no, it's no, he had a purple best sector in that one. So sector 3 times though. So Michael Boulding, yeah, he messed up the final sector actually. So sector 3/10 off from what Stuart French did with his 24.2. Boulding could only do a 24.5 in that one. Everyone else with the 24.3s. So Boulding the slowest in the final sector. So that's where he's going to have to watch out, really, I would think. Someone going for a last-minute move through that section. But as we'll get the racing underway, hopefully very soon. So again, if you do have any comments, again, do let us know. Bring them in. I'll try and read them out as much as I possibly can. But we shall try and get this racing out for you. So let's have a look at the liveries then, just to see who we've got out there. Obviously, I've got to try and remember it myself. So Christian Kelly, Ben Brown, Colin Talbot, they're in their own liveries, but of course they're in the Cam Sport cars. Paul Day, he's going to be the number 2 car. That will be the grey car with the red and blue stripes. Obviously, Alex Sadler, he's not here for this one. Edson Manguera, Michael Boulding, they've got their own liveries as well, so keep an eye on them for them. Carlos Lopez, they'll have the black car with the green and white stripes. We saw him earlier on the smaller screen. Will Richardson, he's running his own livery as well, so also we'll keep an eye on him. Phil Cox, he's going to be in the blue car with the orange and white stripes again. He was on our main screen earlier on. Jason Eccles, he's in the orange car with the blue and white stripes. So that's where my confusion came out a little earlier on. He's going to be in the number 6 car. And the number 8 car is Stuart French. He's obviously leading. He's on pole position for this one on the inside corner, I believe, inside of the inside line. So he's off the racing line, really. So that's inside. So he's got the inside line for turn 1, but yes, of course, he's not going to be on the racing line. So he's got the dirty part of the track. So getting off the line, that's going to be a challenge for him in himself, as we saw from years back in the Formula 1 with the battle between Senna and Prost. We saw it at the Suzuka circuit a lot of times where pole position was on the dirty part of the circuit. Again, it was on the inside, but it was off the racing line, so you couldn't get off the line very well, and it always dropped back. So you always wanted to qualify second. That was the opportunity. So maybe that's what Michael Boulding's done. Secretly, he backed off through the final chicane, and maybe that's why he's done it. So he's on the racing line. Yes, he's on the outside, but he should get a better start off the line. We'll have to see how that goes on through that race. But like I say, looking at the points, Alex Sadler, of course, he's not here. He had the 55 points, but he can only finish third this one. Oh, that's the lowest he could go, I would say, is third, I should say, because, of course, if we get Christian Kelly finishing last, he wouldn't get the points, so he couldn't do it. So Ben Brown in second, 47 points. Christian Kelly in third with the 39 points. And then we have Chris Hardwick. He's also got 39 points, but he is also not here. Michael Boulding, however, he's got 31 points. Even if he takes the win, 20 race points, he will only get 51 points in total. So he cannot win the championship, but potentially get a second or a third, depending on what the results are between Ben Brown and Christian Kelly. So Michael isn't in an opportunity here to take the championship win. It is all down between Ben Brown and Christian Kelly. So it's definitely going to be the one to watch on that one. Again, I did explain the point system earlier, what they would need for it, but we'll go over it again just so everyone who's joining in now has got an understanding. So if Christian Kelly, if he comes first place within this race, Ben Brown must finish 4th or above to take the championship win. If he finishes 5th or below, Christian Kelly wins the championship. If Christian Kelly finishes 2nd, Ben Brown must finish 6th or above to take the win. And the same, if Christian Kelly finishes 3rd, Ben Brown must finish 8th to take the win. Anything lower than that, then Christian Kelly wins the championship from 3rd place in the championship points. So it's going to be a crucial one out there, and looking at the sector times as well, who's struggling, who's better in some of these sectors. In sector 1, Christian Kelly did an 18.1. That was his best that he did out there. Ben Brown was a 17.9, so Ben Brown's actually a little bit quicker in the first section alone. In the second section, both are around the 34, so 34.4 for Christian Kelly, and then it's a 34.6 for Ben Brown. So again, Ben Brown a little bit slower in that second section. So it's about level on pace here, really, as they go into the final sector, and then they're absolutely neck and neck. Both 24.3 is what they're doing in the final section. So it's really, they're absolutely level on pace. So if they can get a bit of clean air, get in front, they'll absolutely dive away. And it'll be a very, very close race between these two. And that's going to be the one to see. In terms of their actual positionings at the moment, it's one of those. Kevin Boulding there with a happy birthday, Michael. Yes, it is Michael Boulding. So it's his birthday today. So yeah, drop a birthday message in the chat, and yeah, I'll give him a shout out for you. So as we go, I think the drivers taking their seats now, as you can see there in the venue, and they're going to be getting themselves all ready to go for their 45-minute race. Now, I thought I was actually going to be taking part in this race, and then I found out this morning as I walk into the venue, all happy with my race boots and gloves, all excited to take part. I was told that, oh, we forgot Sean King's not going to be here, so you're going to have to commentate on this one. So, commentating I shall do, and the guys are on the grid ready to go. Now, of course, they have got a warm-up lap. These guys were told in the briefing not to take out the cones at the start line, or not at the start line, the cones at the edge of the circuit, the runoff at turn 2 as you enter that one. Now, there are some barriers that if you tactically hit them out the way, you can gain a little bit through one of the sections, but if you hit them at full race pace, you're spinning off straight away. So as they'll go through, they are only on their formation lap. They're not starting just yet, but as we will cut across to them in just a moment on my big screen. Again, I've got about 50 screens in this room. It's difficult to look at. There's lots of information that I've got out here. I can see telemetry of the cars. So here we go then, on board. And see a top view there of the cars going past as they're on their formation lap through this Croft circuit. Very narrow circuit, this one of the British touring car rounds. And what a circuit it is, very fast. It probably is up there in terms of my circuits in the UK. Probably my second favourite, actually. I won't tell you my first, we all know what that is. But yeah, as they go through into the sunny in and sunny out, very fast part of the circuit, really easy to run slightly wide there, and it is such a fast part of the track that you can lose so much time through there. Stuart French, who I believe we're on board with, we're looking at here, and the red car with the blue and white stripes, it is indeed on provisional pole. As I've got the corner names here as well, so apparently this is the complex that we're going through now. Into, well, a very well called hairpin. It's definitely the tightest and slowest corner on the circuit, so there you go, hairpin corner it is. And you see these guys are going to be lining up on the grid. So, okay, so turns out that the racing line is on the inside, so it is Michael Boulding's favour still, yes. So, but Michael Boulding is on the inside, so it's actually second place is on the inside. So that was me mistaken there. I thought first place was on the inside line into turn one, so I was incorrect there. So there we go. As we can see the start here, we're going to be looking from above to get a good view here going into turn one. The revs rise. Stuart French on pole, Michael Boulding in second place. The battle for the championship lead, Christian Kelly and Ben Brown, they're fourth and fifth as they go off the line. It's a bad start from fourth place Christian Kelly. Ben Brown hasn't got past him yet. They're still side by side as they go through. Three wide in towards turn one, but leading the way still, Stuart French as they go through turn one. And it seems all nice and well through there as we look at the little screens. Everyone, a couple going a little bit wide, but not favourable line through into the back section here. But on to the back straight now. Stuart French leading the way from Michael Boulding and Will Richardson as they go through. You can see Michael Boulding there with the pink livery as they go through the back of the field there, the orange livery as well of Jason Eccles. He's up right behind Carlos Lopez now. He's going to try and get past him for 9th place, but through the Tower Bend, through towards the Jim Clark S's at this very fast section now through Barcroft, and then we've got Sunny in and Sunny out coming up now. So as we go diving down under the brakes, down into third gear for this one as they quickly shift up into fourth and try and feather the throttle around this. Michael Boulding slightly wide going onto that apex runoff and a little bit of grass. Will Richardson following him through there as well. But at the end of this first lap, nearing the end of this first lap now, a couple of corners to go through the complex section here, down all the way into first gear for here. And then again, first gear for the hairpin. Well, this is what I would take when I was doing my practice. Some of these drivers may be taking second. First gear, I believe, through here as we cross the start-finish line to complete lap one. Stuart French leading the way from Michael Boulding. Then it's Will Richardson, Christian Kelly, Colin Talbot, Paul Day and Ben Brown down in 7th place. This is not ideal for Ben Brown. I'm going to have to do some more maths to see where if Christian Kelly finishes 4th, where Ben Brown will have to finish. So I have to do that midway through this race while talking, which is going to be an absolute nightmare. Edson Manguera in 8th, Jason Eccles in 9th, Carlos Lopez in 10th, and Phil Cox in 11th at the moment. Air temperature and track temperature at the circuit here at Croft is 11 degrees. You can see that on the side of your screen. And also 35 miles an hour. That seems to be the main focus of the weather in the UK today, is that wind. It was very blustery on my way here to the Milton Keynes venue. But it was one of those as we go on board here now with Will Richardson in P3. As you can see there, right behind Michael Boulding, they've got to watch out for that dirty air. Now that can really play havoc. You can see the mirrors there. I can't see any other cars, or I can now. Just see Christian Kelly there in the background in P4 as they go through the complex section. Again, Michael Boulding running slightly wide there. Again, maybe more the favourable line through that section, I'm not too sure. But at the moment, he is making it work for him. So back onto the start finish straight, and there's drama coming on at the back here. It's one of the Cam Sport cars. It's the 22. And I'm not sure who that is. Stuart French, I can see out there. But, there's been disaster in the stream room as well. The number 2 car. We can see if we got Paul Day. So Paul Day, where is this? This is Paul Day and Ben Brown, I believe, that we're watching here. There's a Ben Brown in the green car just in front. This is a little further down. Now Ben Brown struggling here. Again, I need to do the maths on the points to try and work out if Christian Kelly finishes in 4th, where Ben Brown will come in terms of points, if he can be okay. I think where he is now, he is okay on points, because he is only 2 positions down. I believe if he finishes any lower than, I think, 10th, which will be a challenge in itself for Ben Brown, it will be okay. So at this moment in time, I believe Ben Brown is still leading the championship in terms of live points. As we still watch Paul Day here. And you got Ben Brown and Colin Talbot just up in front. Now we switch back to Will Richardson in P3. You can see this this battle here hasn't broken away. It hasn't split up yet, but it hasn't concertinaed up either. So they're staying at a relatively level pace. Fastest lap 1:16.4. That's going out to Michael Boulding. Now he's doing that early on. Now is that a risky move? Now of course these guys don't really need to refuel the car. The tank should make it to the end. But the tyres, now the tyres, that's going to be the key focal point of this. They must look after them. And when I did this testing, the main tyre that suffers the most is most definitely the front left. That's the one that bears all the brunt. Of course, most of these corners, 12 corners in total, I think we've got a replay here. Here we have indeed. Now this is Jason Eccles that we're looking at here. Oh, loses the back end and manages to read it. Now that was a bit of a drift through that corner, I would say. Who is the number 6? Yes, Jason Eccles, yeah, it was there. So Jason Eccles with a very unorthodox method around the hairpin corner. Through Sunny out that we go now. Back looking at Stuart French leading the way. And Michael Boulding does seem to be closing that gap on him. Of course, he was faster through the first sector that last time around. He did a purple lap last time. Let's see what he does this time. Again, it's a tricky old corner this. You do get that slipstream on the back straight, but you must be close enough for it. Boulding running a little bit wide there as well, getting on that grass. Again, that can really suffer your pace down the start-finish straight, and that's going to claw him into the hands of Will Richardson. Further back, a big lunge there, and 2 very sideways cars, as we can see there. I'm trying to think, who are we looking at here? So, I have got the liveries in front of me, but I believe it is Mangera, I think, that we are looking at here. So this is down in 10th place, running a little bit wide there. Carlos Lopez just in front, and Phil Cox behind. Phil Cox running very wide out of turn 2. He's going to lose all momentum there through there, and that's Edson Mangera just wiping out one of the cones through that chicane. So got to watch out through there. It's super quick. It's flat out through that chicane, but if you just get it wrong, you will stop dead on those tyres. Those tyre walls don't move for you. You stop completely dead still if you hit those, so they have to watch out for that if it flicks the car out backwards. Back with P3, Will Richardson. He's right behind now on the tail of Michael Boulding as they go through the complex section here of the circuit. Again, down into first gear. Yeah, you can see that on the dashboard there. First gear, high revs up into second, and then again a quick blip down into first here. So yeah, we are on the same one. Michael Boulding running wide there as well. So that's not going to be favourable for him. Now he's going to be under pressure from Will Richardson, because Will Richardson's going to have that slipstream. Now, what gear are they taking first gear in? Now, I was doing 4th when I did the practices around here. And again, 4th is a little bit wide, a little bit of understeer. Down into 3rd for this one. And then straight back up the gears. Flat out through here. Keep it absolutely pinned. Try not to take too much curb, because it can massively unsettle these cars. Now you're right down the straight towards Tower Bend. How late on the brakes do you dare go? It's a 2nd gear corner. On the brakes now. Down there. And again, very bumpy on the apex there. And you can really see it there from this onboard shot as they go through. Now towards Jim Clark. S is through here. Flat out through here. Up into 6th gear as you get to the exit. Flat out through the kink here of Barcroft. And then he's under pressure now, Michael Boulding. He has got Will Richardson right behind him. Will Richardson a little bit too much curb on the inside there for Sunny in. Suffers on the way out of Sunny out. back into the complex section here. And again, third gear through here. So these guys still holding the pace, but not closing any gaps or any moments. Here's another replay here. Again, Jason Eccles running wide, all the way wide, and then coming back on. Does he spin around? No, he doesn't. Manages to stay on the circuit, but that puts him back down in P10 and under pressure again from Phil Cox. So Jason Eccles not having the best race here down in P10 at the moment. Back for the battle at the front. Stuart French hasn't managed to break away too much. He's got a gap of a second at the moment, but it is dropping. It is going down. Michael Boulding still the fastest car out on the circuit at the moment with the 1:16.466 as we see them going through Tower Bend again. Again, a very tricky corner, that one. You can really get on the power early through this section here, but it's an absolute very fast part of the track now. Don't want to be running wide. You can see the marbles there on the edge of the circuit. These guys don't want to be getting wide on that. We've got Chris Wilson coming in with Ben and Christian. Better not take each other out. Yes, probably not. I wouldn't recommend it. But yes, it will be one of those. Now, I believe are Ben Brown and Christian Kelly, they're both Camsport guys, aren't they? Ben Brown is part of Camsport team? Yes, they are. So they're part of the same team. So we might not see team orders, but yeah, Chris very rightly said, don't take each other out. Here we are with Ben Brown. And he is still currently in 5th place. So he's managed to get past Paul Day. So it is Christian just in front of him. Now, if Christian can get in front of all 3 of those cars in front of him and Ben Brown stays in 5th place, Kelly will win. But at this rate, Ben Brown is still in line to take that championship win. So it is all still to play for out in that race. 35 minutes to go. I tell you what, for 35 mile an hour winds, those trees don't seem to be moving that awful much. So that's something I've just spotted in the background there. I've noticed, like I say, on the drive here, the trees were very much moving. And so was my car, actually. It was all over the place. But Stuart French still leading the way. No position changes at the front. The top 5 still in lockout. They're in the same spot. Now the gap between Ben Brown and Christian Kelly, 2 seconds at the moment. Or actually 1.3 seconds, I actually should say. But as they go through into the complex section, it's the live battle that we're seeing in front of us now. So Ben Brown, who we're currently watching, Christian Kelly's just in front. You can see the battle there, 1st, 2nd, 3rd is just in front. So let's see how these guys do. Michael Boulding, again, new fastest lap from him, 1:16.2. Is he pushing those tyres too hard? Is he going to have to pit early to replace those tyres? On board with him now, as he's behind Stuart French. He's not had an opportunity yet to overtake him. But as we go onto the back straight now towards Tower Bend, it doesn't seem to be close enough for a slipstream yet. Hard on the brakes, as now on the brakes down into 2nd gear. Get it onto those apexes, but not too close, because again, those bumps can really mess the car up. You can lose the back end. Looking at those front tyres, they still look okay. He's not pushed that hard yet, but remember, it's the front left that bears the brunt of this, well, I would say, what is this, clockwise circuit, yes. So through in towards Sunny Inn, a little bit wide there. A lot of curb on the entrance for Stuart French, but he does seem to have closed up a little bit of a gap through this back section now. So he is faster through this section. We didn't see that from qualifying. The qualifying results told us that Michael Boulding was actually a little bit slower through this final section. That's where we're going to be worried. Static camera here at the final corner. There's the gap now. Visibly looks a little less now. Yellows in Sector 3 as well. So someone's gone for a bit of a spin. Potentially, I think it was Christian Kelly. Christian Kelly's not moving on my screen. So what's happened to Christian Kelly? He's gone down into P6 now. So drama at the back of the grid for the championship. Christian Kelly now in P6, Ben Brown in front. Here's a replay. Yep. Oh, too much power down in 1st gear and not enough traction to get away. And that's a disaster for Christian Kelly as he tries to rejoin and not get in the way of Paul Day. It's an absolute disaster for Christian Kelly there. Now dropping down into P6. Huge shame for him. And that's opened the championship wide open now for Ben Brown in P4. So Absolute sterling job from him so far, but still plenty of time to go. 32 minutes left on the clock, and of course they have got that all-important tyre change. If anything goes wrong in that, if they pick up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, you know that anything can happen. We have seen it before in previous races where drivers have received drive-throughs for speeding in the pit lane, and of course you've got the issue with track limits as well. This corner of this track can do you for track limits, especially in the beginning part of the circuit. Yellows in sector 2, they clear quickly. So again, it was probably just a car going for a little bit of a spin. But here we are with Michael Boulding still in P2. Less than a second between them, so he has managed to close that gap, but it has opened up now. But of course we are in the faster part of the circuit. When we get to the slower sections, that's where we get to see it concertina up as they go onto the back straight now. Heading towards Tower Bend. Again, a very heavy braking zone. If you brake too late, you can really suffer your exit. And then as you head towards the Jim Clark S's, because it's such a fast part of the circuit. Oh, and that is exactly what Michael Boulding has just done. It was a little bit wide, I thought. Missed the apex, but it doesn't seem to have affected him that much. Maybe he's found a quicker line through that corner as we head through the Jim Clark S's now towards Barcroft and Sunny in and Sunny out. Very fast section of the circuit here. Heavy on the brakes, down into third gear. Don't take too much of that apex, but then don't one ride, because then that grass can really throw you out and you lose all momentum as you go in towards the complex section of the circuit. Michael Boulding now right behind Stuart French. Has he pushed those tyres too much at the early part of this circuit? Again, with the weather that we've got out there for this one, it is sunny, but it is very, very windy out there. Is it going to be an idea to get a slipstream? Well, I don't know which way the wind is pointing, actually. You know, if it's at a certain direction, it could massively benefit them down the straight. So it's northeast, apparently. I'm trying to think. Northeast, so that's all. It's kind of sideways on the straight, and I can't quite see my screen's gone down actually in the venue, so I'm having to change to another screen now. So it's still up there. You should probably still be able to see it, but for some reason I can't see it in my commentary spot. So drama has developed in here. I'm going to blame it on the fact that Mike actually spilt his coffee in here as well not long ago, and he's had to clean that up. Maybe that's something to do with it, but we are back with the racing. I can see it on another screen now. Michael Boulding still in P2, right behind Stuart French as they go through. I haven't got a timing tower anymore, so I've got to remember who is who. But Stuart French still in the way. Will Richardson there in P3 as we watch this ever-closing battle between Michael Boulding. I remember Boulding saying that he was hoping for some luck with his birthday being there. So I think I'm going to switch to a screen outside the contribution. Yes, look, I've got timing boards now. I'm having to switch to this screen. So I'm now sitting in the middle of the venue on a chair, looking at a big TV screen. So we're commentating now, not in the commentary booth, but I have got the leaderboards again. So there we go. Hello. Yes, this is where I am. We'll have to live with that one. So Michael Boulding there, still P2. Half a second now between them. Very, very close now through this back section as they go through. Onto the back straight, and it's still closing up. 4/10 between them. I feel like he has got the slipstream here as they head into the heavy braking zone, down into second gear now. That new that patch there really helps you out with the braking zone of where to hit the brakes. It's kind of in the middle of that. That's where you want to be slamming down on the brakes into second gear. 0.3 of a second between these two now. Will Richardson feels like he's holding back a bit just to see what happens between these two. You know, who knows what can happen. Down the gears into third gear for Sunny in as they go through towards Sunny out now. Very fast section of the circuit. You can lose a lot of time here. Yellows in sector 3. Not sure who that's involving. Again, they clear quickly. Potentially Phil Cox that could have been, because his timer is going down. Oh, there's contact between Michael Boulding and Stuart French. Stuart French goes around. Will Richardson takes the lead at this moment in time, and that's an absolutely dramatic move into the complex section of the circuit. Race control will definitely be looking at that, and there's potentially a penalty heading towards Michael Boulding's direction. Of course, it was straight into the back of him into the complex section. That's not ideal for Michael Boulding, who was looking so in control of this race. Looked like he had great pace. That's allowed Ben Brown to get up into P3. So again, looking very much more favourable for the championship win for Ben Brown. But drama in the middle here. Yellows in sector 2 again. They don't clear quickly, so someone's had a bit of a spin. So again, here's a replay. Here's the contact, straight into the back of him. Nice slow-mo shot there, but you can just see it. Absolutely nothing Stuart French could do. The back end of the car rotating after a bit of contact from Michael Boulding. But Will Richardson now up 2 positions. Your new race leader at the moment. Michael Boulding running wide into Sonny Inn, and I'm sure we're going to get a response from race control soon. And I'm sure Michael Boulding knows that he's going to be getting something soon as well. Here's another replay of another angle up in the sky. Just see there, Stuart French a little bit wide. Boulding on the inside. I would say the braking zone for this corner is now. Yeah. And I think Boulding was just a fraction late on the brakes. And, yeah, straight into the back. Absolutely nothing Stuart French could do there to stop that car from spinning. Here's Jason Eccles up into P9 now. He's managed to get past Carlos Lopez. So he's up 2 positions from his 11th place qualifying spot. 26 minutes on the clock. And there's another spin there from Jason Eccles. Jason really struggling with his tyres now. I suspect he's probably going to be pitting sometime soon for some new tyres, because they will probably be absolutely destroyed now. Here's further up, I believe this is Carlos Lopez that we're looking at here as they go through, and you can see the tyre marks there from Stuart French's spin earlier on. But as they go through now onto the start-finish straight, again, not a lot of action in this back section of the circuit. Seems to be all on his own, does Carlos Lopez. He's not got anyone for company. Back further up the order, this is Christian Kelly. As we look at the clear blue sky, as we cut to someone else now. Now, who are we looking at here? This is Edson Manguera, I believe, 8th place. Yellows in sector 3 through the order. I could hear some noise behind me. I'm not sure what's happened there. That could have been involving that yellow incident at sector 3. Edson running slightly wide. You can't run too wide there. Really easy to lose the back end and just fly straight off the circuit. Managing to keep that in check. Now, here is Michael Boulding in the pit lane. He's the first. I think this is a drive-through penalty for him. Yes, so he's not pitting for tyres. It is a drive-through penalty. So there you go. That will have been for the collision between himself and Stuart French. Or is he actually pitting? Maybe it was a stop-go penalty. Oh no, it was a drive-through. So no, there he is. He's just in front of Edson Manguera there. So all the way down in P6 now for Michael Boulding, behind Christian Kelly as well. Huge shame for him. Only just behind Christian Kelly. No, actually 10 seconds behind him actually. So it's actually quite a big gap. So pit stops that we can see out there. Apparently Will Richardson has had a pit stop, but he's in first. So I'm not going to trust that graphic. I don't think that's correct. Oh, a bit of a moment there from Edson Manguera, trying to get on the power a bit too soon through that section with the tyres at the level that they're probably at. This is around the mark, I would say, that drivers are going to be wanting to come in to change their tyres. You know, they've been out there for 20 minutes now, and so it's about mid-race distance. This is going to be the ideal time to want to come in and pit for that new set of boots. Or you can try and see if you can hold on for much longer. You know, but then you get that problem of trying to look after the tyres. You know, you're not going to have the pace. If someone pits for fresh boots, then they're going to come out. And it all comes down to that. It's all coming down to how much you can look after those tyres. Is this Edson coming in? Yes, Edson dives into the pit lane. The same with Michael Boulding. So Boulding's coming in now for new tyres, the same as Edson. Now, the pit stop should only take about 5 seconds to change the tyres. There we go, as they go up on the jacks. Who drives off first at the same time? There you go, so the stop at the same time, pull away at the same time. Pit limit here is about 37 miles an hour, so a lot slower than what the speed the cars are doing on the actual main straight. You can see there, coming out, staying on that line. And all well and good. So back with Michael Boulding now, still in P8. Colin Talbot's now managed to get in front of him. But of course, these guys will have had their pit stops. So Talbot just in front of Boulding. So no pressure from him in theory. Boulding should be able to just sail past Talbot if he's not pitted. He's going to have a lot less tyres on his tyres, I should say. A lot less traction on his tyres. Trying to get my words out. First commentary back, I believe, of 2020. So it's good to be back in the commentary box. But I've got to get back into the shape of things. I've not commentated in a while. So there we go. As they go through into a sunny in and sunny out. Boulding under pressure from Carlos Lopez behind. But I'm sure he's going to be pulling away. We know that Boulding's quick around this circuit. He's got the fastest lap out there, and he has caught right up to the back of Colin Talbot. Hopefully we're not going to see a carbon copy of what he did to Stuart French, which we don't. So through the complex section in towards the hairpin. Again, racing line here is crucial. Oh, it looked like Colin was a little bit late on the brakes there. As we cut through here, this is Christian Kelly. Yep, and I was right. And Talbot's under pressure now from Boulding. Talbot goes defensive, swoops back to the outside. Boulding looks to the inside, no, thinks against it and comes back. So can't quite do anything here. Under braking, if you get a good exit out of here, you don't run wide, you can get a good run onto the back straight in towards the into the final corner as we go on board now with Carlos Lopez. Up the gears, and you can see there Talbot trying to go defensive, going back onto the racing line. Nothing Boulding can do. Oh, and that was Lopez almost into the back of Boulding. Very nearly taking him out there. You can see that Lopez struggling on the traction side of things there as they go through the Jim Clark S's towards Barcroft and Sonny in and Sonny out again. Boulding will be much faster through here if he's on the freshest set of tyres. As they exit now, Sonny out onto the power up, fourth gear. And there he goes, under serious pressure now is Talbot from Boulding as they go through into the complex section, heavy on the brakes. Oh, and again, a little bit of a moment there from Lopez. Lopez really struggling on those tyres. If they're a new set, they're cold. If they're an old set, they've got no tyre on it. And again, getting so close to Boulding. Oh, and again, the back end stepping out. I think he's going to be coming in. No, he doesn't. He stays out. So, back on board now. We switch to Boulding as we head now. Talbot all in front, looks to the inside. It's not really an overtaking opportunity into the inside of turn one, I would say. It's a far too fast of a corner. You can definitely go for a move on the inside of the next hairpin coming up through the S's and onto the back straight, but it seems like Boulding's actually struggling in this back section here. Paul Day, he's up into second place, 10 seconds off Stuart French. Stuart French retakes the lead, but of course, I'm sure Will Richardson and everyone has pitted. So I believe Christian Kelly's pitted, Will Richardson's pitted, and Ben Brown has pitted. So at the moment, Christian Kelly is back in front of Ben Brown. I'm not sure how that's happened, but here's a replay. This is Phil Cox, I believe. Oh, very much missing the braking zone there. And almost collecting the tyre wall in the complex section before the hairpin. It is a very tricky section, you know. If you are just a fraction too late on the brakes here, you will just go straight on. It is a very, very tight corner. You have to judge it perfectly right, as these two do this time around. Back with Talbot and Boulding. Boulding struggling to get past Colin Talbot here, despite the fact that I don't think Colin's pitted for new tyres. So let's just see what they can do through this section. Battle for fifth between Kelly and Colin Talbot, 10.3 seconds. And obviously that's not the battle that we're watching here, but that is Colin Talbot in front. So that's the differences you can see there between these two. Nothing between these two at the moment, but Boulding really struggling to try and get past. Looking at the tyres, they're still pretty fresh from his pit stop, so he's not had to struggle too much. He's looking after them, but it is concertinaing up. It looks like Talbot's backing him up into everyone. Who else is getting involved here? Edson Manguera, he's managing to close up in this battle. We're going to get a group train of 4 cars here. Boulding going very wide through the outside there. Looks to the inside of Sonny in. Again, it's a bold move. Can't quite do anything now. Again, Carlos Lopez closing in on these two as they're trying to scrabble their way around the circuit in towards the complex section. Again, third gear for this one, down the gears. Again, if you're so close to another Formula car in front, you can suffer from the dirty air of that car. Down into first gear, back up into second, and then a quick down into first gear again. For this one, again, Carlos Lopez late on the brakes there, almost collecting the back of Boulding as they get back onto the start-finish straight now. Boulding not being able to make a move just yet. This is going to be really making him struggle, really, to try and gain any spot. You know, he was battling for first place earlier on, and, you know, now all the way down in 7th place. Can't quite do anything here. So through the first section they go, through the chicane, as they all going to gain the slipstream from each other here towards the hairpin now. Heavy on the brakes again, very easy to lock up and go into the back of another car through this section, but everyone gets through well. Again, you've got to watch out for those bumps on the inside as well. You get on the power too early and you can lose the back end. You lose all momentum through the Jim Clark Essex here. as they go through a nice train of cars here. Talbot leading this group. Boulding is the second car that we're looking at here, the number 7. Carlos Lopez, then Edson Manguera are the 4 cars. Again, Boulding as close as he's ever been. Looks to the inside here of the complex. Can't quite do it. Has to slam on the brakes as Colin closes the door on him. And again, Edson now under pressure. Carlos under pressure from Edson just behind him. So 2 great battles going on here. 1 for 6th place, 1 for 8th place. As they all go through, all in the same positions. That's the best attempt that we've seen from Boulding to try and get past Talbot in the same section of circuit where Boulding took out Stuart French. Stuart French, though, up into P3. Will Richardson back into P2. Ben Brown holding on to 2nd place as well. 4 seconds between those and the top 3. 8 seconds covering the top 3. 4 seconds between the top 2. Christian Kelly, he's holding on to 4th place at the moment. But after his spin earlier on as well, he's down in P4, 20 seconds behind. So he's got a lot of time to gain up. There's Christian Kelly. He's under pressure, I think, from Paul Day, who's just behind him as well. So they're having a close little scrap. Paul Day up 2 positions from his original qualifying position. So he's doing a very good job at the moment. You can see there Christian Kelly with the black livery and the purple and orange stripes on it to identify him against Ben Brown, who's got the same livery but green stripes around the car. So that's the differences between the two. And here is your race leader, Will Richardson. So he's got a 4-second gap from anyone closest to him, and that is, of course, Ben Brown. 4.9-second gap between him and Ben Brown. You can see Ben Brown just in the background there, and Stuart French in the red car just in 3rd place. As they go through the section now, again, a bit of a gap through there. Now, you could just see the final hairpin corner just off to the side there. If you really wanted to close the gap, I'm sure Race Control would not agree with you, but you could just cut half the circuit off and just go back onto the lead lap. But I don't think you'd look very good in the Race Control eyes, and I think they'd probably put you straight to the back of the grid, so definitely not advised. But everyone doing a pit stop now. As you can see there on the graphics, 15 minutes to go on this race. As you can see the battle there, further down, the Boulding, Edson, Carlos battle is shaping up nicely. Edson's managed to get past Carlos, actually. So he's managed to gain up a position into P8 now. But Will Richardson having a very clean race. Stayed out of trouble with the Boulding and French battle. And rightly so, because I think we were all thinking that something was going to happen. Here's back with Boulding and Talbot. Still not managed to get past him. As again, they're through the complex section in towards the hairpin. Heavy on the brakes down into 1st gear. Again, Boulding looking for any opportunity he can to try and get past Talbot. Not managing to do so yet. So on to the start-finish straight we are now. Temperature's gone up slightly, 11.8 degrees now. It's still pretty cold here in Milton Keynes. It's absolutely tipping it down outside. It's very grey, horrible sky, but here we've got a little bit of sunshine. I'm not sure if that's actually the weather at Croft, but they've at least copied the wind, I would say. 35 to 35. Oh, there's contact there between the two, actually. Me talking about the weather. And here we are back with the race. Michael Boulding and Colin Talbot getting a little bit close for comfort. But Boulding not happy that Colin's moving around on the racing line. Maybe Race Control will have a look at that. Of course, the rule for defending going into a braking zone, you know, you can come off the racing line and back on only once. You can only make one movement on and off the racing line, as Boulding goes slightly wide again as he's pushing hard to try and catch back up to Talbot. Hopefully we'll try and get a replay of what actually happened going into the braking zone on the back section of the circuit. Again, as Boulding is now very, very close, as Colin really pushes him back. And where is Boulding going? Boulding's right on the inside. Is he giving up a position there? Is he? No, he's not. He's just right on the inside. So, interesting line. It seems like he lost a lot of momentum out of the hairpin there. Did Boulding, so that's interesting development there. He was closed right up, and now he's nowhere near. So interesting stuff. Hopefully we get a replay of what happened on this part of the circuit just a lap before. That's what's caused this gap to open up. Yellow's in sector 1. Phil Cox 1 lap down now at the moment. Track and air temps up 12 to 12 degrees as everyone gets through. Will Richardson still leading the way from Ben Brown. Stuart French in P3. Paul Day in 4th. Christian Kelly in 5th. And here is a replay. I think that was supposed to be a replay. I don't think we've got one at the moment. We're still watching live. Oh, here is Michael Boulding out of the hairpin. What happened here? So he did lose the back end slightly there. Lost a lot of momentum. Couldn't quite do anything there. But it was the bit where all the drama unfolded was definitely through Tower Bend. That was the one a couple of laps ago that we want to see between Boulding and Talbot, just to see what happened. It looked like Talbot may have moved into the braking zone. I'm not quite sure. There was definitely some words said from Boulding in the background here. Of course, these drivers all in the same venue as we go to another replay. Yep, so here we go. So Boulding to the inside. Oh, so that was a very late move over from Talbot. It's a defensive move. Not sure if race control is going to look at that, but that was a very moving under braking. I think that is. That's it's not a very sensible thing to do there, but I'm sure race control will keep an eye on that. Talbot still in front of Boulding. Ooh, Talbot running a little bit wide there. A little bit late on the brakes through Sunny in. That's allowed Boulding to slightly close the gap up. I'm not sure if race control have had words with Talbot, but it looks like he's massively closed that gap up. So these guys going through. Apparently a little bit of a lag for Talbot that he's had. That's what I heard in the background there into Sunny in, so that's maybe why he was a little late on the brakes. But in itself, it's managed to close that gap back up now between himself and Boulding. So Boulding with another opportunity here to go for a move on Talbot. Again, into the slipstream now. This is where we saw Talbot move under braking. Is he going to do the same again here? He does move over, but there's no contact between the two. And Boulding can stick on the actual racing line, so that helps him out massively. As I'm going to try and get the chats up on my... so I try and get the chats up on my phone just to see if there's any comments coming in of people what they think. Sean King coming in with some words. Come on, Ben. Super defensive. So doing well. Stuart French with the new fastest lap of the race. As the rest of these guys go through, good train from these guys. As they all head through. So 9 minutes left on the clock. This is the battle for 6th place at the moment. It's the closest out on circuit. Colin Talbot, Michael Boulding, Edson Manguera, they're just in the background. I've seen some controversial defensive moves from Talbot. I know Talbot is a very good defensive driver, but here we go. Michael Boulding's the closest he's ever been on the straight now. Talbot goes very defensive. We go on board with Talbot. Boulding on the outside. Is he going to try and go all the way around the outside? They try to. They almost lock wheels, and Boulding manages to get it done. What an excellent move from Boulding. Round the outside of Tower Bend. An absolutely fantastic move, and that's going to put Talbot into the clutches of Edson Manguera there, who's just behind. Oh, as Talbot comes back at him, a very late move under braking, loses the back end. And that's an absolutely dramatic move there from Talbot. Of course, the famous words from Valentino Rossi, you know, if you get overtaken, you don't want to let them get away within the next lap. You want to get them within the next corner to take an opportunity there. Here we go for a replay. This is the move that Boulding had on Talbot. So under braking, a little bit later on the brakes, manages to hold it just on the racing line on the outside. They don't lock wheels. A little bit of a tap between the two, but it was a good move nonetheless from Boulding. And then I think we're going to stay on board there with these two as we come through, and we're going to see a very late lunge under braking from Colin Talbot. It was never going to work. As they see the dive there, you can see that there was never going to make the corner. There was no contact between the two, thankfully. but a very, very late move there. Here's Stuart French. He's in third place at the moment, and that is Ben Brown just ahead. So Stuart French is going to come back and try and get that second place, just to see what he can do through the hairpin section. 7 minutes left on the clock as they're trying to get their way through. Let's see the times. Who's quickest? I think obviously Stuart French. He set a lap. He set the fastest lap of the race a few laps ago. And there it is, 1:16.153 versus Ben Brown's 1:16.174. So both of these two are actually faster than Will Richardson. His best is only a 1:16.2. But he's heading through as these guys close up for the battles. There's not much in terms of raw pace between these two. So are they actually going to close up? That's going to be a tough one to call. With only 6 minutes left on the clock, I'm not too sure. As they head through the Jim Clark S's towards this section. Sunny in and sunny out. Again, we've seen many mistakes here. It is a very fast section, very easy to make little mistakes through this section and lose a lot of time. As we look at Ben Brown now. There it is, battle for second. Ben Brown, Stuart French, 1.4 seconds between them. Yellows in sector 3. So that looks like that was Phil Cox there, who's just been passed by Will Richardson. So he's struggling there with the pace at the moment. Is Phil. Fastest lap now is Ben Brown, 1:16.113. Here's a replay. And this is Phil Cox. Again, a little bit too deep, loses the back end. Spins it all the way around, and then I'm probably going to see Will Richardson just enter the circuit here. Yes, so manages to avoid Phil Cox, but gets through. So Phil really struggling there with the tyres at the moment. Now, back with Ben Brown, under some pressure from Stuart French. Now, at this moment, Ben Brown is still looking good for the championship. The only competition he had was him and Christian Kelly. But at this rate, Ben Brown has got this in the bag for the championship. I think with the position that Christian Kelly's got, he's not going to have enough points if Ben Brown finishes anywhere on the circuit. So I think Ben Brown would have to finish completely like stone dead last for him to try and make the points up. Down the inside, gets past Phil Cox very swiftly. Phil also getting out the way for Stuart French as well. Will Richardson responding with the new fastest lap, 1:16.107. So these new tyres that they pitted for are actually finally coming into life now. As they go through, all drivers coming in with quick times. Oh, as Ben Brown gets a little bit out of shape there through that section. The back end just steps out and it's going to lose momentum now onto the start-finish straight. Stuart French not managing to get past Phil Cox just yet, actually. So Phil Cox just in front still. Braking zone here for Tower Bend. Oh, bit of a lock up there from Stuart French under braking. Trying to dive past Phil Cox. But he manages to do so. As we still watch Ben Brown now. 4 minutes left on the clock. Only a couple of laps to go. Will Richardson looking comfortable with his 5-second lead, but Ben Brown looking much more comfortable with his championship points as they stand at the moment. Here is the race leader at the moment, Will Richardson. Yellow flags out in sector 2. They clear quickly. So again, looks like maybe just a spin. Oh, and was that Stuart French running a little bit wide through the complex section? I think it looks like he almost clipped the tyre wall there. The gap has opened up to 4 seconds now, so I think, yes, there was a bit of a moment there for Stuart French in that complex section. He's been struggling through there, of course, with the contact from Boulding. Here's a replay. Into that section. Oh, yeah, just gets onto that grass. You could see the puff of dirt from the other side of the circuit. So that gap has opened up massively. He won't have been able to get on the power there. So huge shame for Stuart French. Back with Ben Brown. In 1:16.113, 5 seconds clear from Will Richardson. Some 4 seconds clear, or 3 seconds clear from Stuart French just behind him. So the top 3 separated by a fair chunk. But Will Richardson looking comfortable in his position. Ben Brown here, current championship leader at this rate in terms of the live points. As they go through, you know, Ben Brown finishing second, you know, he'll get 17 race points on top of his 47 points that he's got at the moment. Of course, Alex Sadler, who couldn't be here, he's got 55 race points, but of course will be scoring 0 points this time around. So we'll be going down to P3 on the leaderboard on that one, which is a huge shame for him, as he was running well, running strong in the championship. But all eyes at the moment on Ben Brown. Less than 2 minutes on the clock. Working hard at this championship to try and get as many points as he can. Obviously, he's been a little bit lucky this time around that 2 of the top 4 have not managed to attend today. Michael Boulding with the fastest lap now, 1:15.8. So the first driver into the 1:15s. You can see Boulding's got the pace around here, as is everyone else as they go through. But back to Ben Brown, as we say, he's worked hard this entire championship. It's the first season of the Simply Race Formula Championship, and Ben is going to take the first championship crown for this one as he exits the hairpin left to the so the second driver in the 1:15. So Ben Brown's absolutely on it. Will Richardson also gets a 1:15, so that track's really rub it in. So Will Richardson still leading the way. Top 2 in the 1:15s. Michael Boulding also with a 1:15. The only 3 drivers with into the 15 seconds. As we look at Ben Brown here, Will Richardson, he's going to be heading into sunny in and sunny out now. He's obviously on the final lap, 16 seconds on the clock. He's not going to make it round to the finish line. Here he is on the smaller screen in the bottom right-hand corner. The race leader for the final round here at Croft for the SRF Championship. As he exits the final corner now, the hairpin, he's going to take the win here for the final round. It's 20 race points for Will Richardson, but it's not enough for the championship. Your championship winner for 2020 for the SRF Championship across the line now is Ben Brown. And I'm sure he's going to be absolutely delighted with that. Stuart French crosses the line in P3. But all eyes on Ben Brown, the 2020 championship winner for the first season of the Simply Race Formula Championship. And I'm sure he's absolutely delighted with that as he slows down now on the cool-down lap. Christian Kelly crosses the line in 5th. He will inherit 2nd place for the championship with his points. He fought hard there to try and win. He did have the opportunity to do it, but unfortunately Ben Brown was absolutely on it this round. Worked absolutely hard, kept his nose clean, and heads round. Colin Talbot crossing the line very slowly. Here comes Jason Eccles. Colin Talbot finishing down in 9th place. But finishing orders then, Will Richardson finishing in 1st place, Ben Brown taking 2nd place, and of course winning the 2020 championship. And there's me, my head, as I'm sitting down looking at this TV in front of me. I'll stand up now, we're not watching the race, there we go, a little bit better. But yeah, so an absolutely fantastic race out there that we saw from those guys. I'm sure they're going to be absolutely delighted behind us as well. There's the results there just on your screen as well. And of course there, Ben Brown taking the fastest lap of the race as well. So there we go. Lots of information there. I think they're all finished now, and I'm sure we'll get the top 3 over for a chat in just a moment. I'm sure they're all delighted with how they've finished. And we'll definitely talk to Ben Brown, I think, first. There we go. So here we are then, back. It's all gather in for me. Colin, Jason, stop talking to each other. There we go. Excellent. Champion. Right then, guys. So well done on a great final round at Croft. It was quite an exciting race there, but we have got the race results, of course, for the race and the championship points. So for the race, in third position, 8.7 seconds off from the race leader at the end. Fastest time for one, 16.153. Round of applause, please, for Stuart French. Let's go with that one, yeah. I don't know which one is for which. There we go. So on to second position. The fastest time of their race was a 15.777, 4.9 seconds behind the race leader, please. Round of applause for Ben Brown. Well done, sir. And finally, our race winner for the final round at Croft with their fastest time for 1:15.915. Round of applause, please, for Will Richardson. Well on. Excellent stuff. We'll do some, I think I'm going to come and take a photo as well. We'll do a quick interview as well on the camera. So, Stuart, you were leading at the start, and then an incident happened in the complex section of the circuit. Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, well, I think it was just I messed up the side of the corner, and then it was just a slight tap that was just sent over the edge. So, thankfully, we had a bit of a gap, so I only fell back to third, but meant Ben got past. Yeah, oh well, it happens. It's racing. But I mean, these guys were just phenomenally quick. I was just like, no, I can't match that. So, quite happy with third.
Yeah, spot on. Well done. Ben. Of course, we'll talk about the main part of that later. You're much better than me. This is I'm going to come up on. Yeah, we'll swap. Yeah. Actually works really well. Perfect. Cool. So yeah, second place. Yeah. Do you want the microphone? You said. So yeah, second place in that one. You must be chuffed with that.
Yeah, especially after the start because a little bit messy and went off a little bit. But yeah, Will was too quick. Will was too quick today. So and I got lucky with Michael and Stuart having an incident. But yeah, overall it was good fun. Nice little track, so yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well done. First place. Again, I'll probably join you up here. You're another tall person as well. Everyone, I hate being small. But yeah, first place on that one. Third place for most of it as well. So you were a bit. It looked like you were struggling a bit on the pace, but then obviously with that incident happening, you inherited first place.
Yeah, I think I was gifted that one a little bit, but when I was behind the two of the guys, it felt like I just couldn't push as much as I wanted to. But as soon as I had the space and the gap in front of me. The lap time just sort of came, and then when I was left on my own, I could just settle in and try not to think about winning as it was getting towards the end. But yeah, I think I did all right.
Excellent stuff. Again, congratulations. Win. Drivers, a round of applause, please. Excellent. Cool. Keep hold of those. There we go. Keep turning my microphone off. Right now, of course, now we're on to the championship points. Now, unfortunately, our leader for the championship, Alex Sadler, wasn't here for the final round. I thought he could get away with that one and think, I don't need to race that one, and I'll probably take it away. But we have got the final championship points. Again, a round of applause, please, for your third place man. 50 race points in total, Christian Kelly. Perfect, and then my phone for some reason. There we go. So second place, of course, our man with 55 points. But again, a huge round of applause for Alex Sadler. And then, so yeah, someone take Alex Sadler's place. There we go. Michael Boulding there. Cool. In first position, then with a grand total of 64 race points. Round of applause, please, again, for Ben Brown. Well done. Guys, your championship is there. Again, huge round of applause. And some photos as well. Excellent stuff. You made sure it was in focus, yeah, Mike? Yeah, cool. Excellent stuff. Cool. Well, again, thank you very much for everyone taking part in the Formula Championship here at Simply Race. Of course, we missed the last round at Zandvoort. We couldn't stream it. We're all at Autosport. Who here was at Autosport? Quite a few of you as well. So yeah, we all missed that one. But yeah, no, it's been great having you for here. Sean wishes he could commentate on this one instead. Would have been racing instead. This one, but yeah, we missed out on that. But no, thank you very much, guys, and yeah, have a safe drive home in this lovely weather.